So this is How to Rock the Video Game. I haven't even had coffee today, but how to rock the video game and eSports industry and get paid. Ow! Yeah, presented by, I am your co-host, Omega Sparks.
And I am Swats.
And together we form a group called Game Breaks. And right now we want to inspire, encourage, and inform you on how to make money in the video game industry. And we believe that your story begins now. Right now.
I finally got my letter. Looks like it's time to go. Feel like the mate for this tournament. Been I'm on the road. Keep on feeling me tempted. I can never say no. If you're ready to battle, right here.
Yeah, the sky gets mine. Sharp eagle, I'm flying around wiggle. Be easy, I swoop down, I'm so eager. Go field, I bring a mark and hear the people. Shout from the crowd, and now I'm back to get down. Going way up, seeing everything that I own. Going way up.
All the heat, you took, no retreat, it's smoking out.
Only battle will tell the truth. My feet's on the proof of my very low.
I'll be winning the battle, the king of fighters. To anyone that I don't need to practice, any second you're gonna lose. Time is now.
Like you said, your story can begin now. So here's a few of my career highlights, and then I'm gonna pass it to my partner in crime, Swats. A few things about me. I've created hype songs for Evo Championship Series starting 9 years ago to current. I created theme songs for local and new eSports leagues. I co-wrote TJ Combo's theme song for Killer Instinct on Xbox One with Mick Gordon. I was contracted to create songs for Nintendo Switch titles like Ninjala. And I was nominated 2021 Hollywood Music and Media Award for Best Song in a Video Game, alongside some of the panelists from earlier. And I'm gonna pass it to my brother Swats. What's some of your career highlights?
Some of my career highlights. So I, along with Sparks, co-wrote and performed the official King of Fighters All-Star hype song that you guys just saw. Provided promotional music for Streets of Rage 4. We were the first music guests for Rooster Teeth at their RT Block Party. We provided music for their Red vs. Blue Zero soundtrack. We created songs for their Death Battle series, including Miles Morales versus Static, Black Adam versus Apocalypse. In 2021, I was an international songwriting competition winner for one of my songs, and I've been a voiceover talent for Toka Boca in Toka Life World as Wilfred, as well as a voiceover for an upcoming toy and a television series.
Excuse me. Oh! Jeez, right. Well, quite frankly, we are the future. As musicians, vocalists, composers, and sound designers, we bring emotional elements and cinematic impact to moving pictures, live broadcasts, and video games.
So I want you guys to keep in mind that now more than ever, gaming companies and esports platforms are utilizing our talents.
Yeah.
So as creative sound makers, we need to figure out how do we maximize our presence in the gaming industry so we can generate income. So Sparks, can you take us along that journey a little bit?
That's right, yes, and they need us now more than ever. So these are some of the steps that we've used to garner success and achievements and milestones in the video game industry. Swats, what's step number one?
Step number one, again, I want to go ahead and throw this caveat. These are things that have worked for us. We don't know everything, you know? You guys probably know something that we don't know, and we're all trying to learn and grow here. Step number one that has worked for us, take inventory of your life.
I've had the pleasure of doing artist consultations here and there for over the past decade for some amazing artists. And a common theme I tell people is this cell phone right here, this is your legacy, this is your history. There's no way that you've been doing music for 5, 10 plus years and you don't have names and numbers in this phone that you've worked with. The great thing about it is, as you're leveling up in the industry, as you're leveling up your artistry and creativity, so are the people in your cell phones who you may have done a song with 3 years ago is now the music director of a radio station locally, or over a movie studio, or what have you, or a worldwide DJ. You just never know. And so instead of starting from scratch this year, and this is, you can really take notes here, and this would be like, for a lot of us, our 2023 game plan. We can, start with your cell phone, build a list of people that you've already connected with in times past, and build that network.
That's right. So starting with your cell phone, but you need to also start with yourself. As people have leveled up, make sure that you level up how you see yourself.
That's right. And what's step 2?
That's what it is.
Oh yeah, level up and how you see yourself. That's right. So yeah, start to make music from where you want to go, not from where you currently are. If you rap over lo-fi hip hop and chill hop, and you want to write, for action movies, then it's time to get some high energy songs in your repertoire. And so create music for where you're going, and really take time and think about where you want to go as an artist. What type of songs you want to make? What type of movies do you want to create and video games you want to work on? And then from there, once you figure out what you want to do, write, produce, and build a stellar demo reel. It's not just for vocalists. It's also for music artists as well. It's also for producers and DJs. Create a demo reel, and then let that demo reel be your audio calling card into the industry, so we can pick up some gigs.
Right. So that's paying attention to the details. And all of that leads into step number 3, which is understanding the industry.
Take time to study what game companies and eSports platforms need from music artists. Like, really take a listen to what type of songs are actually getting picked up for eSports tournaments. What type of songs are getting picked up for fighting games and RPGs, and what is the industry looking for, and can you create that type of music? And so study the industry well. It also helps us guard our hearts as well, because it can be very discouraging when you put yourself out there and then you hear a bunch of no's and everything like that. But once you study the industry, you're like, you know what, my songs are great. It's just, it doesn't fit with what they're looking for here. Doesn't mean that I'm a horrible artist. It's just they're looking for something specific.
That's right. So we got 3 more steps for y'all. Sparks, can you kick us off with the first?
Step 4, everyone. Stop being afraid to ask.
Who has ever been afraid to ask a tough question? Indeed. I better see every single hand up here. Please stop. You are literally one question, one email, or one text message away from your next big opportunity. I can't tell you how many times something has come to us from us asking a simple question. Hey, can we rock this for you? Hey, I love what you're doing here. Can we be a part of it? Hey, this is what I do. Could we such and such? Don't be afraid to ask those questions, because you literally could be opening doors for yourself. Not everything is going to fall into your lap. You got to make some things happen for yourself as well.
That's right. Step 5, stop questioning yourself.
Stop questioning yourself. We are often our own worst enemies, right? You got to get out of your way, right? Get out of your own way. You've already invested a lot of time into who you are and what you do as a musician and as an artist. So into it. Keep going, keep pushing forward. Don't stop the party now, and stop being your own worst enemy.
Step 6, stop being afraid of failure.
That's right. As Sparks said already, there are going to be more no's than yeses. You need to steel yourself up from that, all right? You need to steel yourself up for that, and just know that that's the way it is, and that those yeses could really, really be big. And really, what's the absolute worst that can happen? A lot of us are afraid of rejection. Whether it was when we were children and we're interested in someone or something, we have to get over that hump. So save that emotion for your music. Put it in your music and keep making great things. What's the worst that can happen?
Well said, Swats. Well, I want to tell you how my journey began in video game music. It started with eSports, and we really believe there's 2 sides of the coin here. There's the community, and then there's the corporate. Sometimes people get in on the corporate side, you know. Then sometimes people get in on the community side. Sometimes people work in the community so much that it actually leads to corporate gigs and getting placed in video games. So for me, 9 years ago, I worked with a little fighting game tournament. You know, it's little, you know, it's grown to be, actually it's the #1 fighting game tournament in the world, in Japan and in Las Vegas annually. And so this is how my story began. Crickets. Literally crickets. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, I'm nervous. Hands are shaking. This is my time. Let's go.
Let's rumble.
Yo, this ain't practice. This is what I do just to slap Galactus. Ninja backflip, Avenger tactics. Come on, attract the whole world like my name was Madness. Foot dive on the game of Doc Doom. Turn my microphone into cipher just to rock tunes. Get it? I'm a rider, strider, bomb dive. Get trigger happy to flow to get live. I run with a rage like he's so mean. I feel an atmosphere of power like Evo C. I'm choking peers with a broken tear. An evil genius and beast that motion fear.
So basically, in a nutshell, eSports is taking over. They've already taken over really. It's estimated that eSports will become $1 billion industry this year and beyond.
That's right. And you guys have to keep in mind that the best paid esports programmers make about $3,500 a month. That is about $42,000 a year doing stuff they love, playing games.
Exactly, and then you know, esports, the essence and culture of esports is now getting into other forms of media. You know, I'm sure a lot of us has checked out League of Legends, which is a prominent esports tournament. Their Netflix show Arcane was amazing and taking video game adapted animation to new levels.
Yep. So not only television, but you've got different platforms like mobile, PC. You've got your gaming consoles, and all of these platforms are utilizing esports these days to advertise, sell their products, and tell their stories.
And they need your music now. So the next video we're gonna show is a case where, you know, we got hired by Netmarble for King of Fighters All-Star, and they also hired Justin Wong, which is an amazing top-tier pro gamer. That competes in tournaments all around the world. They hired both of us for a commercial so they can basically have access to the esports community. And this is an example of this that your music can be in the future.
Fight! I dare you.
Hey, I feel like an all-star. Battle do it all hard. About to get loose and hit you with KO Coogan's. It's a movement, yeah, it gets brutal. I feel the power brewing. Hit you like the Kuma, then press you in the corner like Rugal. I'm built with emotions, just feel the erosion. They feed you and see the emotions. You posting, please forgive me, I'm boasting. You can't ignore me, I'm Eori. Especially you avoid me, I'm the mightiest in this tournament. This the king of fighters.
Right here, right now.
I finally got my letter. Looks like it's time to go. Feel like I'm made for this tournament. Man, I'm on a roll. Keep on sending me challenges. I can never say no. You're ready to battle. I'm right here. Hey, no.
The King of Fighters All-Star. Download now.
Ow! So, okay, you landed your first placement in a video game. Super awesome. How you gonna collect on the money? Royalties. And so we're going to talk about now how do you collect and maximize your royalties, not just for placements in video games and movies, but just you as an artist going forward. We leave a lot of money on the table, millions of dollars worldwide on the table because we don't have our royalties set up. And so we want to spend some time talking about this.
Yes, sir. So we've got the different types of royalties, right?
Yeah, let me talk about that. So there's different types of royalties. There's mechanical royalties. If somebody buys your CD or they download your song or album on iTunes or any other platform where they're basically buying your music, that's a mechanical royalty, physical mechanical royalty if it's a physical CD, digital mechanical royalty if it's something online. There's performance royalty. Every time your music is played in a venue or you perform in a venue, royalties are created. I literally performed at MAGFest last year. Then I went to BMI. Yeah, I know, right? It was awesome. Super cool. It was super cool. Oh, man. It was really cool. We had fun. I'm sorry. So I literally performed, and then when I got home, I went to BMI, because I'm registered with BMI with my performance royalties, and then I told BMI, hey, I did a thing. I performed at, the National Harbor Hotel, and I got paid by MAGFest to perform, then I got paid by BMI because my music was performed in the venue of this hotel. So that's what performance royalties also cover if your music is played on the radio as well. There's streaming royalties. There's interactive streaming royalties like Spotify. There's non-interactive streaming royalties like iHeartRadio and Pandora. There's synchronization royalties or sync royalties. Every time your music is synced up with moving pictures, video games, movies, commercials. Every time somebody takes your song on YouTube and syncs it up to them playing a video game or making a rant or something, royalties are literally being created for you in your artistry. So those are some of the types of royalties, the main royalties that we go after. There's print royalties. If somebody prints some of your lyrics on a t-shirt, on a website, there's a print royalty out there for you. So knowledge is power, and yeah.
That's right. You just got to go get it. So we've talked about the different types of royalty, right? So how do we get those things? This stuff isn't like served up on a table for us. There aren't people instructing us how to do it. I mean, it looks kind of like that right now, which is great. So you've got PROs, right? Performing right organizations. You've got ASCAP, BMI, which he and I are a part of. BMI Live, just like he told you. I mean, you get into a venue, you have your music played, you perform it, and you get paid. There are also things called GMRs, Global Music Rights Organizations. That's what these establishments pay. They pay for licenses in order to play your music in their venues, right? So that's how that starts. You've got Song Trust out there for publishing royalties collections. They will grab royalties for you across the world, like not just in the US. So a thing that we've been doing, same thing that he mentioned when you have YouTube, people using your songs, they post, they use your song, you hear it in the background. You literally select the frame of time that your song was playing and say, hey, here's my joint, here's what was happening. And then you get those royalties from that. TuneCore Publishing, again, they'll collect royalties as well. Sync licensing, they help with that. And then monetizing on YouTube, and you get to keep your copyrights. Copywriting is a very important thing too. Make sure that you're owning your stuff, the stuff that you create, you have ownership over it. ISNI, that's the International Standard Name Identifier. That makes it easy for people who are looking for you and looking out for you to find out what you've been associated with. So anything that you're a contributor on, any body of work that's related to media, you sign up on ISNI, you throw it on there, and it's just a big list. And it really helps like search engines because they feed that information as well.
Yeah, I want to add to that. So for me personally, my little digital setup, because sometimes if you have 2, 3, or 4 royalty collection companies representing you, sometimes they bump heads, like who's collecting my royalties in South Africa, okay? Whoever has jurisdiction, they may bump heads as long as one is collecting my money. And so my setup is I use DistroKid to go after my mechanical royalties and my streaming royalties. I use BMI to go after my performance royalties. I use TuneCore Publishing to go after a set of music I've created back in the past, and then the publishing royalties there. Then I use Song Trust to go after the big slice of pie worldwide. So I have 4 entities representing me, making sure. And it feels great when you get a comma check, when you get a $2,500 royalty check because you crossed every T, you dotted every I, and you believed in yourself, so
that's right.
It can happen.
And you have to keep in mind, like, we just listed off a bunch of things that we've been doing, stuff that has worked for us. And it's not easy, right? Like, you have to be your own manager. If you're not represented, we are not represented. We are our own managers, and we wear many different hats. So if you can figure out how the business works, put on those different hats, the more you know, the more successful you can become, because you know where those gaps are. You know how to work throughout those gaps, and you know how to make it so there are no gaps, and you can push forward. Nobody's going to do it for you, and nobody's going to do it better than you.
That's right, guys. So we're going to open the door. We're going to open up the floor for questions. As we do, I want to let you know we got some things coming out in 2023. We have a comic book coming out.
Comic book
called MCs.
MCs, be on the
Rappers
lookout.
with superpowers.
2023.
Really awesome stuff, man.
That's right. The
Worked
next
on it
one,
ourselves.
we've got. I've got an app now. I finally have some swag over there. You guys are free
Swag,
to
man.
check the QR code.
You don't have my size, though. I don't understand.
I got your size, bro. It's on there. I did that just for you.
I
But you
appreciate
can
that.
find out the latest things that I'm doing, any news, any things I've been involved in, and then of course pick up some gear.
And then I had a song that just released. Shout out to Clay Fighters. Anybody remember Clay Fighters on Super Nintendo back in the day? They're making a remake of it. And
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler. OMG. Spoiler alert. And so they're coming out with the remake of it, unsculpted. And they hired me to do the theme song for their soundtrack, and it's really awesome. That song has now been released on Spotify today, so if you look up Omega Sparks, you'll see that cover. That's the new song. So we want to open the floor up. You know, we're here for you. We want you to be equipped, empowered, and have a successful. By a show of hands, who's an audio creative person in the building? Make some noise for
Music,
yourself.
rapper, producer,
Make
anything.
some noise
Awesome.
for yourself.
Awesome.
We're gonna have a great year, are we not? We're gonna have a great year. So, any questions you can think of? MAGFest staff, is there a microphone with which they can ask a question?
There's a young man over here who had one.
Awesome. Well, I guess there's not. Is there not a microphone? Okay, well, no problem. Speak up and yell loud.
We got one on the way.
Oh, we got a mic on the way.
We got two on the way.
We got two. We got three mics
Do we
on
have
the way.
three on the way?
Give me four. We don't have that many people here. Everyone gets a microphone. You get a microphone. And you get a microphone. I'm like the Oprah video game music over here.
Go ahead, sir.
Hey, you had a lot of vocals on your tracks that you showed in your reel. Do you do all your own MCing, or do you work with MCs?
No. Is that for you or for me? Anybody?
Both of you, yeah.
No, we write our own stuff. We're very proud of the stuff that we write. We are lyricists. Stuff that we write has layers. We pay attention to, you know, what's being said, the stories. We are storytellers. You know, we make sure that we're writing about, and I think it's fueled by our love for the stuff, for the topic, right? We've spent years and years and years playing this stuff, being immersed in the world. So by this time, we doggone better be professionals at it, you know. So we write our stuff for sure.
It's like you get hired by a video game company, and they're like, okay, this is the new character. You know, you sign your non-disclosure agreement. Like, okay, this is the character. We need this, and they are sticklers for you representing that character lyrically on point. So if you don't want to lose out on that $1,000 check, you better know how to write about a video game character.
For sure. So like take employee Death Battle. I'll just kind of give you a backstory of that. Like, we were all in a chat, and they were like, hey, we'd love to involve you guys. Go. You know, they were like, these are the two characters. And basically, we're having a rap battle in the chat. We're like dropping our verses. They're like, oh my God. And then I pass it to him. They're like, oh my God. You know, so it was kind of a concert as we were going. So really, really fun stuff.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yes. Oh. Yes.
Oh, there's a live stream. Cool. Hi.
Hi.
So my name is Lauren.
Hi,
I go
Lauren.
by Toasty Marshmallow Online, and I'm basically an anime gaming cover singer.
Oh, wow.
And so my question is how I, as somebody who works with, I guess, a lot of creators and a lot of companies online can get more involved with composers and working with people in the industry, like gaming industry.
Awesome. Sparks, you want to take that?
Yeah, you know, it's not really too magical about it. Like, be a hawk, be an eagle. Like, if there's someone that's not in your sphere of influence yet, they are not in your sphere of influence yet. Right. Really, it's believe in yourself enough to email people. You will be surprised, because as much as you want to work with them and need them and want to, you know, composers need vocalists. They need fresh talent to work with. Just like you may be inspired by their work, they're going to be inspired by your work. And so someone has to be the initiator. And so really believe in yourself to get out there. Like we're at MAGFest, you know, believe in yourself enough to go to conferences and rub elbows with, you know, influencers and people that's moving the needle. And I know that's not really magical, but you will be surprised.
For sure.
This is what I say. If you believe in yourself, set a regiment to contact people. This week, I'm going to contact 2 people that I want to work with. Could be a composer, could be another vocalist, could be somebody with a bigger YouTube platform or that could benefit from my creative art. I'm going to contact 2 people. If I hear 2 no's, oh well, it wasn't meant to be. Yeah. Move on. Next week, I'm going to contact 2 or 3 more. And before you know it, you keep that regiment up. You know, that's really the secret to my trade. I contact people when people are trying to figure out how to reach out to somebody. I just reach out to somebody, and you'll hear a lot of no's, or you'll hear nothing back. But then those yeses is worth the no's.
For sure.
So that's my answer. Like, just set a regiment, 2 a week.
Yeah, and to kind of add on to that, there's something that I want everybody in here to take with you. Show up and blow up. What that means is whenever you do something, go crazy. Like, do it to the max, because everything that you do is an audition for the next thing you're gonna do. You have no idea who's out there watching you. You have no idea who's just waiting to get their hands on you. You know what I mean? Like, we've showed up sometimes, they're like, oh my God, it's you. And it's like, oh, but it's you. And, you know, even outside of that, it's those people who are even part of companies who you don't know, those things that you haven't, like, you can't see. Plus that stuff that's in the works, you know? Like, there's a time and a place for everything. Maybe right now, it just isn't that time yet, but that your time may be coming. Show up and blow up. Kill it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Absolutely.
Problem. No problem.
Yeah. Man of the Red was first. We'll definitely come back. Right here.
We may come back.
We may come back. We love this guy.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up?
Hey.
Yo, what's up? My name is Dean. It's my 2nd year in a row coming to MAGFest.
Me too.
Awesome. Same.
Yeah, Dave.
Doing my run tomorrow. I was just wondering, I've been doing a little bit of research on it. I'm not quite sure where to go from here. Like, I don't know if it would be like a workers' union or something, collective bargaining agreements just for like streamers, or if it would just be like teamwork working towards, I don't know if it would necessarily be here or anything, but like just more researching into it, working with a team to see if I could introduce it somewhere to try something out and, you know, at least get closer. You know, if I fail, I fail, but like,
Yeah.
where do I go from here exactly?
As a content creator and a streamer, is that what you're saying? Yeah. Well, I tell you, consistency is very powerful, and I've had like 50 followers, and I'm like, I really don't really feel like creating something for 50 followers, but you'll be surprised. Just be consistent, and 50 will turn into 100, 100 turn to 500, 500 turn to 1,000, 1,000 turn to 5,000. Just think about this. Whatever your brand is, whatever you want to talk about and create is unique. That's only in your head. People may have come up with stuff similar, but there's nobody like Dave, you know? That's the trippy thing about this is when you create something, it will blow your mind how many people. It's like the universe is waiting on us to create, you know? It really is 90% about the heart and 10% about the talent, I think. I mean, you gotta have talent. You gotta be excellent at your craft. But really, we all have been heard on the radio. There's people less talented than us making millions of dollars because they believe in themselves, right? You know, like, well, I can rap better than this guy. You know, they are where they are because of belief and stuff. So just be encouraged. There are streaming platforms where you can, you know, whatever you do on YouTube and also show up on Twitch, whatever you do on Facebook, and you know, and so like this year, like put it all together where you know you don't have to. Okay, I got to bring this content over here. You know, there's stuff that'll do it seamlessly. I don't have the names of those websites, but you know they can kind of streamline what you're doing and just be consistent. Yeah, and then. Work with others. There's nothing wrong. Work with other streamers.
Yep.
You know, some of your favorite streamers. Just reach out to them.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, because it's not about ego. One of the guys on stage, kind of right now, if their set's not ending, Cam Steady, he's on stage with Rustage, right? I reached out to Cam Steady. You know, I've had all this success. But I want to take my Spotify numbers to the next level. And so I just reached out like, hey, man, I will pay you for your time. I love to glean some information. And he gave me some great wisdom to kick off this year, you know. So just don't be afraid to reach out to the right people. They may be here this weekend.
Yep.
But, yeah, you got it, Dave.
Yep. Spread your network. Yep.
Yeah.
Network
got it,
here. The folks are here. You know, the people you work with online, there's nothing like a great shout out online and people posting links to your page who have a larger platform than you do, you know? Yeah. And so just milk it, work it, enjoy it, have fun, and just keep getting to know people. Yeah. And then, you know, things will definitely come. Mr. Grayson.
Hi. I gotta take this mask off. Should I be standing? Nah. All right, so I got like 2 questions. The first one, so what are some ways you would advise someone to possibly find a way to, like, because you're saying like find an email or find some type of contact to initiate the conversation with whoever you can to possibly get a chance to open the door to get into the industry as to like. So like, from what I've noticed from a previous conversation we had, I think it's kind of difficult more to find an email, because I guess nowadays there's more of a influx for them to be asked. So it's like, so what are some other ways you would find a way to initiate the conversation?
Yeah.
You want to start or you want to follow me?
I'll follow you.
All right, bet. So how invested are you in LinkedIn, and how seriously do you take your page?
I don't believe I have a LinkedIn.
That is a great start. LinkedIn, everybody, like, take your page seriously. They have a lot of things to offer you as far as who to get in contact with, what to do, how, when, whatever. And people will let you know on LinkedIn how they want to be contacted. Do that. Me, you know, I'm an actor. I'm a voiceover guy. I make music. I'm also in the corporate sector. But everything is on my same LinkedIn page. That way people know if I get hired, this is what comes with it. This is what I'm built of. This is who I am. And this is how I want to get contacted, etc. So make sure you're taking advantage of really what's out there to benefit you. It is much easier than going on Google and trying to find da-da-da-da, you know, because that way you could step on somebody's toes. You could contact them the wrong way.
That's like, at least like, I guess, anxiety-inducing thing of I guess my first try is I don't want to accidentally upset somebody, and now my name is remembered as, hey, this dude kind of pissed me off last, but
it's all good. You know? Yeah, I mean, again, that's a part of that fear that we have to let go, though, right? You have to take those steps. If you don't take those steps, you'll never get out the door, through the door, in the door, nothing. So you have to take the steps, and you have to make sure that your steps are guided. So do the research. Take the time to do the research, know the business, know the platform, but also know the job titles. what kind of job title is out there for you to make the right moves? You have anything?
Great insights, Watts. Also, I'm gonna say this: build an army around yourself. Okay. Vocalists think like producers. Producers think like composers. That's been my mindset for 2 years, and it's worked a lot of times. If you study who a producer is and how producers move, they don't have as many followers on social media as vocalists and music artists. But what they do, they have their hands in so many different movies, video games, different genres, different media platforms. And so just like you personally, you got the amazing work you do with your DJ. Build an army of composers and producers. And one thing I've been doing on the low all last year is I do pitch albums. I'll say, hey, producer, I'm Omega Sparks. I like your work. I let them hear my work. They like my work. I tell you what, let's do 5 songs together. Let's do 5 songs together. Let's put all our influence on the table, who you know, who I know, and let's build. Let's do these 5 songs with the intentions of pitching them to different either sync licensing companies or different movie and video game companies. That way, you're working smarter, not harder. You're working with 2 times the network. You're networking theirs. You rinse, repeat, got those 5 songs out there working for you. Then you do another 3 to 5 song pitch album with another producer. It's okay to aim high, like, hey, and go to somebody with a bigger network than you, with a bigger set of followers than you. They have a different set of influencers than you, and say, hey, I'm a dope lyricist, you're a dope producer, let's work together. And that's kind of how I work. Because it's people that I have met that I would have never met if I didn't work with a producer. They gave me access. So that's for you specifically for this year. That's what I recommend. And just go out and say, hey, I'm here to do business. Because there's a lot of producers, just like we need them, they need us. It may be, check this out. I work with a producer right now that is actually hired by a really big time sync licensing organization. And this guy, he got to crank out like 50 to 75 tracks a year, but he makes a lot of money. But then, like, as he's cranking out all that music, he needs vocalists. He don't have time to write himself. I can take some of that workload off of him, jump on those songs, take 25 to 50% royalties from the song, and we work in business together. It's time as vocalists. And I'm not saying this to anybody specific. I'm saying this to everybody. It is time out for validation. Validation is a killer. You are great already. Yep. It's time to go into business with people and make money because it's there for us.
That's right.
All right, and my other question is, so I was gonna say hypothetically, I'm just gonna be 100. So if you are an artist that also performed last year, but you forgot to go to your pro, got an ASCAP.
It's too late.
Is there a time limit?
Oh, yes.
6 months.
Ooh.
Yep, there is a time limit.
That's it.
Whoops. All right. At least
You'll know for next year.
Yeah, you know for next year.
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Anyone else? Thank you, Grayson.
Right beside you. Right, 2 from.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm currently starting off new, and I wanted to ask this question. What's the best way to try and organize yourself, especially if you're going to go and, I guess, especially in your case, Omega, you work both, because I listen to some of your music on your own channel, and you obviously do also big stuff with corporate. Well, what's the best way to start organizing yourself with all this?
What do you want? That's the best way to get started. Figure out what you want, because there are different lanes that you can play. We, as we do, the fun stuff for the fans, and we do our corporate stuff, we make a point to not have a lane, right? But when you're starting out, figure out what you want. Do you want to be the next big YouTube sensation? If you are, you better put out content regularly and you better have something going. Or do you want to sit back, find jobs with corporations, because that changes how you move. Each lane moves differently. So first, figure out what you want to do. Develop your sound, make a great sound, figure out the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
Any follow-ups?
I concur. Yeah. I don't have nothing to say to that. Yeah. It's life is an RPG game. You know, I'm sorry. I'm about to geek out. Never mind that analogy.
Could you actually say what you're about to say? It sounded interesting.
Say it again. Couldn't hear you.
Can you finish what you were saying? It sounded very interesting.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Here go to geekdom. So life is like an RPG, right? Okay. So just like in Pokemon and there's evolutions, or even in medieval RPG games, you start out as a knight. Do you become a holy knight? Do you become a dark knight? Do you become a paladin? It's kind of it's similar thinking when it comes to being a music artist. Always look towards what you want to evolve into. Even if the community may be trying to push you towards, hey, I like that. I like when you rap about Pokemon, or I like when you do this. Yeah, that's cool. I don't mind giving y'all that every now and then. But in my heart and in my artistic expression, I really want to land placements in movies. That's what I want to do. That's what would make me fulfilled as an artist. Go after it. Don't let. I mean, now if there's an easy bag over here, you make content for your fans and you get them what you want, but be true to yourself and what you want to evolve into, because you don't want to be like leaves swinging in the wind. Wherever the wind blows, whatever's hot, whatever's cool, everybody's using auto-tunes. Everybody's rapping about Pokemon. Everybody's rapping about anime. Everybody's rapping about video games. Okay, well, how do I fit in this community? No, what do you want to do? That's why I'll moonlight. I'll be on a anime rap battle or rap cipher. I'll jump in there. Hey, that's cool. It's money. I'll write a verse, but that's not what I want to do. I want to be in these video games. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And so I don't. It's really awesome when people can't put you in a box. Like nah. I'm on my own evolution. So I just think about that. I'm a big RPG head, and yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
So I want to ask you a question because, particularly to my current situation, which is I do a lot in terms of I produce, I rap, I run my own gaming, anime, cosplay gaming, live music events. I'm doing all these other things. Yeah. And it's cool, but it's I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of hats.
Exactly.
The word it's a blessing and I could other half of disguise, whatever. But basically, it's the thing where it's they're all doing well and people seem to like it, but it's I am everywhere. And I heard you said about building an army, but it's you also mentioned about no one's going to do it how you going to do it. Yeah. And part of me doesn't want to stop doing them because they're working. Yeah. So my question is how do you guys, what you've been doing, how do you handle stuff like that?
Let me say this. Mental health is important. Okay?
Super important.
I wrote 80 songs last year, and out of 80 songs, 25 of them got picked up for a commercial, a video game, a television show. I put in a lot of work. I was working on music till New Year's Eve. I was supposed to be resting the last week. Find out of the many hats that you wear, find, let's say it's 5 of them. Keep 2 of them that gives you enjoyment. The other 3, build up someone to do it for you or in representation of you. I'm a Christian. I'm a churchy guy, so I believe in discipleship, right? And how that applies to the world is how that applies in non-religious terms. It's we need some Padawans. Every mentorship. We can't all be Obi-Wan Kenobi out the gate, man. Find some Padawans. They need you. They don't know how to do one thing, let alone the 5 things you do that you juggle. They need you. for the people that have a heart that's willing to learn, and some people don't have a heart to learn. Some people are just using you. If you can get 2, 3, or 4 people that really have the patience to learn from you, when you ask them to do something, they actually do it, and they're not always looking out for themselves, then you got some world-class people that you can build up. It's a mutually beneficial thing. You're teaching them and you're leveling them up, and they're taking responsibilities, the day-to-day responsibilities off of your brand. You are a walking brand. Coca-Cola don't got one man running Coca-Cola all over the world. They got factories and plants. They got corporate offices. You know, you're a walking brand. You don't want to burn out and fizzle out. And so, yeah, it take time this year. I recommend to build some people up to follow you. You get them a couple of opportunities to follow you, and if they can't follow you, if they can't follow instructions, if they can't move like you move, then they're not worth your time. You got to be protective of who's in your close quarters too. That's also mental health. And so, yeah, build your brand. I don't want anybody to fizzle out, because I know it's weird. I work on music. I love to work on music, and I end up depressed after I've worked on music. Why? Because I'm not giving myself time to rest, relax. Yeah. It takes a lot of energy and emotions and vulnerability to create music, especially if you're working for a video game company that needs, okay, here's the character, here's what I want you to rap about or sing about or write about, and you got 2 days to deliver it, and then you put all that time into it, and they're like, we need another pass on it because, I need you to take out a few words and add these words, and you got to re-record it again, and then you got to juggle 5 of those and have them all knocked out in 2 weeks. And that's a lot of mental strength, And so, yeah, build your brand. Yeah. Build your brand.
And allow yourself the time that you need. You might not even know that you need it, but just take a minute to sit back and look at everything that you're doing, because you don't want to fall out of love with your passion. That's the last thing that we want to do. We do this thing because we love it. We are in love with it. We breathe it. Just make sure you take that time to organize it. If you can't find somebody to help you, then you need to sit back and be like, okay, well, what am I doing? And then prioritize, okay? I know you're doing a lot. I know you're working on a lot, and everybody needs everything now, right? If it's stuff that you're in control of 100%, then it's your job to organize it. If it's stuff that you're not in control of 100%, it's your job to organize it and prioritize it. So make sure you take priority of what's most important, what's happening now, and take that time you need to sit back, relax, take a breath, so you don't fall out of love with your passion.
I gotta say something else. I'm sorry for this long-winded answer, but until you find this is the dark side of music that we don't talk about a lot of times. We're always giving each other high fives over our achievements and milestones. We don't talk about depression in music enough. It's a real thing, and so until you find those Padawans. Become an administrator of your music career. What I mean is I have 5 things artistically I want to do this year. I'm not working on all 5 of them in a given day. Today, I'll build my brand on social media and set up my TikTok videos for the week and release one a day, but the actual creation of the TikTok videos, I'll spend a day doing that. All right, that's one. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on all the music that I've been commissioned to write. I'm work on that. The next day, I'm going to work on in your case, production. All right, like don't try to. If you're wearing 5 hats, don't operate in all 5 hats in a given day. Like do 1, 2 at the most. And then it's self-managing yourself. It's tough to self-manage yourself. Because especially for people like me, I want to go. Okay, it's 12 o'clock, so what? Let's write, and I don't have a stop. I don't have a stopping button. I used to love to play video games, but I write for them and work on stuff so much that I don't even play video games. You know what I'm saying? Play a video game. Enjoy yourself. Okay, it's 6 p.m. I've worked on music for 3 hours, for 4 hours a day. I'm done. If somebody needs to contact me, I'm turning my phone off. I'm not accessible to anybody except my close family and people I could talk about stuff other than music about. And because mental health is so important. And so I just wanted to stress that. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You mentioned that sometimes you get the NBA and you write for a certain character, game project that's going on, but you also mentioned that you said you wrote 80 songs last year, you got 25 plays.
Yeah.
What percentage of the time is it like you get the contract and then you write the song, and what percentage of the time are you writing and then you're shopping around something you already wrote? What's the breakdown?
Well, for me personally, and it's all different. For me, it's probably like 20 songs that came to me. 5 of them, I created the music first, and then case in point. I don't know if y'all heard of Nerd Out. I did a song with Nerd Out and one of my go-to producers that's part of my army, Andre Sogach, that actually lives in Baltimore. He's in Peru right now, about to get married. Yes. But he's a cool guy. Shout out. I love Andre. So me, Andre, and then another group, we created a song for Marvel's Midnight Songs. No one told us to do it. No one paid us to do it. We just did it out of our love for the game, right? I was literally 20 hours into the game and man, we ought to make this song about this. This is a really great game. Created the song and then shopped it and pitched it to the actual game company. They're freaking out, loving it. You know what I'm saying? We reached out to I think the lead programmer. He heard it, freaking out. I'm gonna share this with the rest of the staff. They're literally at work and shared the song. And then the head guys that created the song started tweeting it out and hey, we want to work with y'all in the future. So that's why mentally. Sometimes your work in the community can bleed over into the corporate side because you're creating a song based on your love for someone else's product. And you'll be surprised, the people that's making the game don't mean that they have everything figured out as far as for the promotion of the game.
Right, and I'll piggyback off of that. The corporate side is moving all the time, and it is their goal to reach the fans and to get that information out. And their job is to figure out the how. But they get so much tunnel vision that sometimes they just don't have that answer. And when you can create a body of work, this is at least the second or third time this has happened, but create a body of work and they see it, you've already done their job for them. That is free marketing. They're just that is what we need. Hey, can we buy that? Can we use that? Can we, So put your head in that space. We are speaking from the perspective of the fans. As fans, we love this stuff, so we're going to talk about it. It's what we want to hear. It's what you want to hear. And the corporate world is they did it. They did it, So those are great pockets to fit into. And then that can open up a new relationship, and you can move from there.
Boom.
Anyone else?
Hi.
Hi.
My business is around helping other businesses get organized.
Guys, shh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. A little bit better.
Okay. So my business is around helping other businesses get organized, and I have a lot of clients who are creative professionals like musicians, artists, media. And so my question to you is, how do you find the balance between focusing on your craft and your creativity and then the other side, which is the business side?
How do you find the balance between the craft and find the balance between that and the business side?
Yeah, how do you?
So for me, it's two different loves, right? It's for two different reasons. The craft is part of it is for filling my soul. I need this artistry side to fill my soul. I am also in the corporate world, so while I'm doing that creative side differently in the corporate world, I need the creative side from music to fill the soul, right? And so I make that music for myself, and I make that music for my fans. But that's a completely different feeling than what I do for the corporate world. Granted, I love that music as well, and it is also a part of filling that soul, but it's business, you know? And so I will segment, you know, I will continue to make music for the fans as well, but then there are goals, specific goals that we try to set for the corporate world, whether it's directed by them or it's directed for them. And then what lane we choose, what path, depends on the specific situation. But for us, well, I'd say for a lot of people, they operate in one lane. You know, they choose to be that creator and be that YouTube star, etc. Other people choose to be that, I'm going to focus on the corporate world and do whatever there. But we try to show up where we can and be excellent wherever we are. So put our heart and soul into the creative side for our fans, etc. And then bring some of that heart and soul into the corporate world so they can see, hey, this is what we love to do, etc. Any follow-ups to that?
No, that's great. If I had a hard time hearing you, but on the business side of things, is it in media? Did you say that?
I was saying, how would you balance that side of your creativity
Mm-hmm.
with the business side in terms of managing your business and making sure that you're bringing in revenue?
Making sure you're bringing in what?
Revenue.
Oh, yeah, revenue. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great question. I like making money. I really like making money.
A piece of it is, you know, if you're bringing revenue into the picture, right? You want to make sure on that business side that the amount of money that it takes to create a song doesn't completely far outweigh the amount that you bring into. But again, we also do this for the love, right? Yeah. Like you put stuff out that you enjoy, that other people enjoy, and you're making people's days. You might not even know it, but you could be changing someone's life with a song that you create. So how much value do you put on that? How much value do you put on how much a song means to someone else or to you? Because you might immediately, off the bat, you might not be making all of that money back. You know, you could be, you know, in the negative, so to speak, when it comes to, okay, how much did it cost to produce this song? How much did it cost to get it mixed and mastered? How much did it cost? You know, all that stuff. But then again, you know, getting a lot of the things, how much you can do on your own, starting to grow and do things on your own will help with that as well. You know, if you start to learn to get your home, make a home studio so you don't have to pay for studio time. Yes. If you start to learn to produce, then that's a big deal. You know, if you start to learn to mix and master, yet again, you know, you're kind of changing the narrative at that point. And then it's like, okay, well, costs are going way down, and I'm still releasing the same quality, if not better. So it really depends on what's important to you.
That's why building a team, we're overtaxed. We're trying to do too much ourselves. We know it's too many talented people around us, and they need us as much as we need them. So I concur with what my brother said. I used to buy instrumentals, $500, $700. I still do sometimes if I really like the beat. That's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money.
Why don't I instead go 50-50 on royalties with a very talented producer I love to work with? So that cuts the cost from buying a beat, because I'm going into business with the producer. I have a home studio, so I don't have to go to someone's studio and pay $50 an hour for. So that it takes the cost down. Now I can I can make a song for free. Wow, that's great. I mean, I can do what I love, my creativity, and then I don't have to pay a lot. But yeah, build that team around you. And if it's something that needs to be done, but you don't like doing it, or it costs too much money, that's why having a team that can take some of that workload off of you helps. I want to say thank y'all so much for your time. I hope y'all got something from this.
Yeah.
This is a labor of love. I want to, if you don't mind, clap it up for MAGFest.
For sure. Thank you, MAGFest.
Thank y'all for having us. Let's have an awesome year, guys.
Awesome. Big pleasure. Remember, a lot of great stuff coming in 2023. You guys get that QR code, listen to that song, and be on the lookout for MCs. You are going to love it.
Yeah, and we'll be outside. We'll be outside of here if y'all got any more questions. But thank y'all so much for your time.
Thanks, everybody.